What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Creative Mind. Let me go ahead and pause that real quick. Ah, man, just in time. Just made my coffee. Everything's good. I'm all set up. I hope everybody's feeling amazing on this Friday, and it's going to be another exciting episode, man. Welcome, Designz, bro. Thank you for taking the time to, come kick it with us at ODK. For those who are not familiar, my name is Andrew Lyko. I will be your host today. The whole purpose of this space is to get to know our fellow artists that are within the Web3 space, and also vice versa to allow us to kind of talk about the things that we're doing while we're here, why Wando Kids is even a thing, you know what I mean? And so I'll give you guys a little bit of background before we get, dive into Designz and, start the space. So I grew up in LA. I've been an artist all my life, but just about 3.5 years ago did I actually take it like fully seriously and became a full-time artist. And so that whole 3.5 years of roller coaster of a journey has been quite insane. And I've gotten to a level that I've got to see kind of like how the fine art world works. And so my purpose now and the whole purpose of Wonder Kids is finding like-minded individuals that aspire to really take their art form to the next level as far as they can take it, because there's a lot of things that involve that whole process. It's not just about talent, and so I want to be here to kind of steer the ship and give insights and on how I did it, so other people can do it too. And this goes further out. It's not just for artists, but just a creative overall. Anybody who aspires to have a creative type of lifestyle that is also financially free. So that's kind of like the whole premise of everything. That's what inspires me, motivates me to come on here and get to know you guys and kind of spread the word of how are we doing the things that we're doing that allows us to live the lifestyle that we live. So that being said, Designz, man, I'm super excited to have you on and get to learn a lot about you today. It's going to be a really chill, open conversation, man. Very organic. Yes, I have some questions for you, but overall, the conversation is just going to steer and go the way it goes. And so, without further ado, man, you want to hop on and take the stage and kind of introduce yourself before we get into it.
Yeah, man, what's going on? I really appreciate you guys having me here. Designs, physical, digital, any kind of unorthodox abstract painter. I do all kind of work from illustrations to just basically anything I can try, and if like it, then I like it, and I keep going with it. Um, I live in Alabama. I was born in Ohio. I moved down here to the South when I was little. I've been painting for physically painting abstract wise. I've been painting for about the last 8 months. Before that, I've done stuff like customize things around the area. But yeah, man, I'm just glad to be here. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, sir. Abstract, man. That's awesome. I was just pulling some of your pieces onto like the jumbotron, but not sure why it didn't work. Give me a second, man. Let
No
me try
worries.
again. But anyways, I'll figure that out. Let's go ahead and take this back, man. Let's run it back into when you were a kid. I really like to understand how artists developed. Like what were the first couple of influences that started the whole creative journey. Because for all of us, it's a little bit different, but there's also similarities. And so let's start there. Like, what was the first couple of things that you remember that influenced you as a child to become a creator?
It basically started around high school. Um, art classes, everybody has an art class for the most part. I did a lot of experimenting back then as far as trying. I did a self portrait with oil paint, and I was really into surrealism. Our teacher had us put up a mannequin, like the small 1 foot size mannequins, and told us to start with that. And you draw the mannequin's foot, the foot turns into this, turns into that, turns into that, and that's just how the whole thing went. And I was just fascinated by the entire idea of just a shoestring can turn into a snake, can turn into a balloon, can just go anywhere with it. I was really into Jackson Pollock paintings, just the raw emotion of it, and how a lot of people didn't, they saw it as just a bunch of marks. I mean, not a lot of people, of course, but people that weren't really into art just saw it as, oh, that's just anybody could do that. And you look deeper into it, and it's more intricate. That's one of the things I try to, stay upon is the intricacy of a lot of my work. And yeah, I started that in high school, and from there I went for a little while, just dabbling. Like I said, I did the self portrait, and I did a couple other things, and then I transferred over to music. I was a hip hop artist for about 14 years, and that creative side of me stuck through. I was doing my own CD cases, and I was doing CD cases for other people, and it just kind of never left. It was still there in the background as far as creating physically with my hands or digital or whatnot, but I was doing music for a long time. And um, I got into this space because during COVID, I was out of work. I used to be a chef, and like I said, during COVID, I started doing just little paintings for people around the area. Nothing crazy, just football signs or like sports teams and cartoon characters and stuff like that. But it was all it was all drawn out and ready to go. Um, and then one of my customers told me about NFTs and told me about crypto, and I started dabbling in crypto. And it was funny because the first thing he said was, "You could sell one of these paintings for $5,000 tomorrow. Did you know this?" And of course, I thought it was bullshit, but I was like, "All right, I'll check into it," and I did, and here I am.
Shout out to the homie who put you on, man, and totally you can sell your stuff for 5K.
Man, that's my favorite
I mean,
story to tell people.
like the space is wild, man. Like I think it's what's fascinating about Web3 is just like the unknown. It's just so experimental. It's all over the place. It's happening 24/7. There's like chaos, but there's also beauty. It's just insane, bro. And I think I like that part of it as well. It's definitely not for everybody, but like if you can, adapt it and fit it into your lifestyle, it works. By all means, bro, like do your thing.
Hell yeah,
So
that's crazy.
very interesting though.
Sorry,
Yeah, yeah, go for it,
no,
man.
I
Go.
was gonna say
No, you're
that's
good.
crazy that you said that because I think it was the homie Renegade who posted the other day talking about the space being up and down all around, and I wrote on there, I was like, the space is a beautiful savage, and that was the only thing I could think of because that's a like you just said, it's up down, it's all around, it's mean, it's nice, it's insane.
Exactly, and I feel like the sooner that you come into terms with that realization that the space is just a space. You can't control it, man. You can just like plug yourself in
Yeah.
and do your thing, but at the end of the day, like you cannot have expectations. You cannot like take the stuff so personally. You just need to let it be
Yes.
and kind of just like your thing on it, man. And when I made that switch, bro, like that perspective shift, I was like, oh, okay, things started to calm down a bit. I was just like, all right, I don't need to be like crazy on Twitter every single day, like sending 1,000 GMs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it, the people that rock with me will be there and show me love, and vice versa.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I had struggled with that for a long time too. Honestly, when I first got into it, um, my first collection ever was on Tezos, and it was called Coin Mask. The first thing I saw people doing was, everybody was into crypto, so of course the first thing that hit my head was, all right, I'm going to incorporate all these coins into pictures. So I did a bunch of masks that I was collecting, and I would play with them around digitally, and I would add the coins to the picture, and it was just nothing. Like once I realized that I could stop doing what I thought everybody else wanted me to do, or what I saw all around me, and just let go of the control, like you said, it just completely changed everything.
Yep, there you go, man. I'm glad. I'm glad that you had that like that shift in perspective. Let's run this back to though to the moment that we were talking about Pollock because I think that's an interesting conversation around abstract art, right?
Hmm.
Because for the most part, I'd say like 80% of the artists that we've gotten the chance to talk to on the
Yeah.
space has been completely different style of art. I feel like you're one of the two only artists that does like abstract pieces,
Hmm.
and so I want to dive into it because I want the audience to really get to know and understand that just because a painting is abstract does not mean it's simple and easy to do. And so I first want to dive into like the your mind of like what about Pollock did you get inspired by, and then also if there was like any things that you intaked and tried to like bring to your side of things when it comes to your art.
Um, I'm going to start with the second question because the first thing is I always try to make something completely different from the last. And I know a lot of people know this about me because I'm not used to doing set series where all the pieces almost look alike. I'm just not. That's just not something I've done maybe one or two to where they have the same concept. But I just, for me, if I'm going to go down in history as an artist, whether it's big or small, I don't care. Um, I want my stuff to be different. So
Going big, bro. Going major. Sorry to cut you off, but I
I
just had to say
appreciate
that.
that
All
though.
right.
No, but I want all my stuff to be different. So that's always how I've been. Um, but yeah, like I want everything to be different. So no, I haven't really pulled anything as far as like the inspiration towards my work, but it was definitely something that drove me to express my emotion as far as Jackson Pollock goes, because you can see the emotion in it, and there's still people to this day who are saying that he was just throwing paint all over the place. Yeah, but you don't know what he was going through. You don't know what he was dealing with. Nobody does. Just like nobody knows what I'm dealing with when I'm throwing paint around. You know. Um, as far as like the inspiration goes, it's just raw. There's no. That's one reason I love physicals. There's no erasing. You mess up, you either go over it or you're going to deal with it. Or you can start completely over. But it's just raw emotion. And as far as my paintings go, like I said, I keep them different because I don't want to create a series of the same things. I don't want to put out 4 pieces in a series that takes 2 months. I struggled a long time with slowing down because when I first jumped into the space, I could create fast. Doesn't mean I didn't put my work into it, but I always figure out a system to do something, and I have a very unorthodox process. But yeah, I figured out how to do my work fast, so I struggled with that for a long time. But no matter how fast I was going, every single piece was different. But it always kept that raw emotion that I think Pollock's work would, show.
Definitely, man. So I would say, I mean, I'm not trying to categorize you or label you, but the abstract expressionism,
Hmm.
I feel like that's what you are, or like at least that's what you do.
Definitely.
You need to get it out of you. And so if we put it into like let's say artistic terms of like a musician or like a rapper or something, like you would be considered like a freestyler, right? Where it's like, yo, I have it, I just want to get it out, put it down, and that's the reason why you're so fast. But it's like you said, just because you're fast, that doesn't mean that you're not putting your all into these pieces, right? And I feel like that's something that in the public eye, there's a lot of confusion about that because oh, he did it in like what, a 20-30 minute session. Yeah, but that 20-30 minute session might have been so intense for that person doing it. Like it's like you said, you don't know, like the outside person looking in is like they don't know what you have going on within your mind, what you're currently feeling. And so those 20-30 minutes could be super intense for you, right?
Yep.
And where you get lost and it doesn't even feel like 20-30 minutes, right? It feels like time is not even existent at
Exactly.
that time.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that too. It's like you're in a whole different world to where it just slows you down and you don't even notice, and then boom, you're done. And it's very funny because me talking about how fast my pieces were coming out, I still do them pretty fast for the most part. It's funny because my process is a little more intricate and would probably throw you off as far as that goes. So I'm going to go into that a little bit, because it might be a fast piece, but all right. Let's see how to say this. Okay, so whenever I jumped into abstract, period, digital, physical, I started digital. Like I said, I've only been doing the physicals for about 6 to 7 months. But when I first got into abstract, there was a lot of abstract. I'm not saying it all looked alike, but to people who aren't really into abstract, it all looks alike. So I had to figure out a way, and I just had to figure out a way as far as how to stand out among this sea of it's just like the rap world or the rock world. There's a million people doing it. How do you pick one out from the crowd? So I had to stand out in some kind of way. So what I started doing was, instead of making one piece abstract, and this goes digital and physical, instead of making one piece abstract, I would do two, and then I would digitally layer them over each other. um, that's been my base process for the last 3 years. um, I would layer two pieces atop each other, and then I would go to editing. I still do that to this day. So a lot of my abstract you might even see figures. Now, well, with this new series, you see figures because it's a half AI, half physical. But before this last series that I'm, dropping Monday, you will still see figures. I have some pieces listed right now, like I Am My Own Distraction. It was a piece I dropped on my birthday. You see this guy or this figure on the bottom right, and his brain is just exploding everywhere. I look for figures in the paintings, and when I do a painting, I'll take a picture of the painting. Half the time, it's not even a picture of the whole painting. And I will crop off that picture, layer it with another picture, and I mess around with it so fast until I find another figure, and then I get to editing. So, like you said, people don't know what's going on in my mind, but even though I'm putting out these fast pieces of work, it doesn't mean it's not intricate.
No, definitely, man. And like your work, like the second one that I pinned, right, the where it says goodnight,
Mm.
you can clearly see figures, right?
See, now
So
that's from the new series coming Monday, and that's a bit of AI mixture with that. But let me see if I can find it.
And while you find that, I'll explain the importance of experimenting and never stopping that route for any kind of creative, because that's where you find like your next, 2-5% that you add into your current formula and switch things around and just continue growing. Because if you stay stagnant, like just because something's working now doesn't mean it's going to continue working for forever. And so if you're not adapting, changing, experimenting, more so for yourself too, to kind of stay inspired, then I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I completely agree. And there's some people who don't want to, move around and try new stuff because they're comfortable in their lane. And I get that. But you can always go back to that lane. Um, I just posted the piece up top, or the three pieces up top. I still have a few additions of the two on the left. But this is what I was talking about. The ones on the left, the very left and the middle, those are both pieces that were just two completely separate, different abstracts. And aside from my latest collab with Enigma, it was a 365 piece that had to be the head of a figure. I do not paint specifics. I don't go in thinking, all right, I'm going to paint this head and I'm going to paint this body. I don't do any of that. I paint what's in my head, and as I'm editing, I look for figures. A lot of people start out with, oh, what was the inspiration behind this piece when you first started? I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you what the inspiration was halfway in. But yeah, you see a figure of a man on the left where it's almost like the thinker, but where he's just sitting there thinking. And the one I was talking about earlier with the brain exploding, you can kind of see a figure on the bottom right as far as the middle piece goes. And it comes from just looking for it. Like, I have to search for this. And if I don't find figures,
That's
that's okay, because, some abstract doesn't need a figure. But those are the real gems in my mind as far as what I'm putting out.
You know what? Let's do something real quick. Something that we haven't done before. All right. So you fold up these three pieces. Let me take like a couple seconds to dissect them, look at them, and I'm gonna just talk about what I see, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
then see what you think about them. All right, so starting from the left one now, I see kind of like a dancer, right? Like a female dancer in a very soft type of pose where her head's tilted back, the body is obviously all the color where all the color is at,
Hmm.
and her legs are kind of like crisscross, about to like do like a dancing expression. So yeah, that's a beautiful piece, bro.
Appreciate that.
And that's another thing love about abstract too, because a lot of it is left to the viewer to kind of come in and interpret it their way based on what they see,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
I do see now that you did mention about the character on the middle piece on the bottom right
Hmm.
with like the head explode. I definitely see it where like the black is at. It kind of looks like there was like something that opened the head and now it's kind of like pouring out, kind of like ink is coming out of the head.
Yes.
Um, really dope. I see that for sure. Um, you know what's really impressive, man, before I keep going, is the amount of depth that your pieces have. Because on a lot of abstract pieces, even though there's layers on layers on layers,
Hmm.
it's still pretty flat, right? I mean, if you look at a lot of abstract work, a lot of it tends to kind of turn muddy,
Yeah.
especially when you're using a fairly large color palette, and which you are. You're not using just 3 or 4 colors here. You're using a ton, man. So the fact that you can keep it very in depth, but without it being too muddy, and then still having kind of like a really cool aesthetic to it. Like I wouldn't even know where to start, bro, if I wanted to recreate this.
I appreciate that.
So let's talk about that real quick because I actually want to know, bro. Like how, like, all right, let's talk about the right piece. Um, take us throughout that process real quick. Like, how did you come about making it? Not so much like what inspired you, but like from a technical standpoint.
Wait, which one?
The far right one, the more darker one.
All right. So the far right one, um, it's funny too because that actually has a figure. It was just I held off on that one because you have to actually turn it sideways, where the you see the white in the middle with this kind of looks like it has spikes going to the right. If you turn it to where the spikes are going straight up, you can almost see a figure, and it looks like they are adding coals to a flame in my mind, and that's why it's called Feed the Flame. Now, as far as the texture goes, I am a texture maxi man. Like, one of my favorite artists, top three, is Crypto Vulture. Vulture, just the textures that he gets to, and it just, I love his work. It just stands out to me. Don't get me wrong, I love all the abstract with the flat paint, and it's really cool. And I even do something like that sometimes. Um, but I use scrapers and palette knives instead of brushes for that exact reason because I can move it around without it blending in. And if it does blend in, I might add another color or something like that. And it's crazy because, oh, I forgot one of the main aspects of what I do as far as when I told you I layer two pieces together. Half the time, about three-quarters of the time, it inverts the colors to both paintings. So if I start out with a color, I have no idea half the time what color I'm going to end with. But inverting changes all these colors because I could not tell you the opposite of neon pink mixed with orange. Like, there's just no way to figure that out right away. Um, but yeah, as far as feed the flame, I try to, like I said, I try to keep them different. That's why I got one light, one dark, one medium. It just so happened to post like this. But yeah, as far as the texture, I love the texture, man. Like, that's one thing I go for. I try not to do too much texture because I don't want it, when I send it physical to somebody, to where it's getting messed up in the mail or anything like that. But just enough texture to where you can still feel it and you can see it popping out at you. Sometimes I'll get rid of the glare when I take a picture. Sometimes I leave it there just to have that depth. But yeah, palette knives and scrapers, and once I mix them together, it kind of shows both pieces.
I would love to see one in person, man. To see the depth in person like that, because these are pretty sick, man. They're like very, um, like I said, there's just a lot going on, but it doesn't look muddy. To like a lot of the stuff that I see, especially abstract work, um, the stuff that blends together. There, you get enough colors blend together. It's either going to turn like brown or black. You know,
Definitely. That
so
drives me nuts too.
yeah, exactly. And then that's very hard because you're mixing a lot of stuff here. That's why I asked, because I was like, how does he keep stuff separated like that? Like, that's kind of
And a lot of
insane.
people ask me too, I had a question the other day, how long do you let the paint dry before you add another layer? I don't. I don't. I do it all at once. Um, as far as keeping the colors separate, like I said, I'll use scrapers. If you use a brush, you're going to eventually get that brush wet. Even if you dry it, it's still wet. If you're going to paint two colors on top of each other, they're going to blend in. And if you move them around more than twice, like you said, it gets muddy. But if you use a scraper, like paint scrapers, they have all different sizes all over the place, or you use palette knives. I use anything I can find. I used a pair of chopsticks yesterday when I was painting, just to get the weirdness to it. But as far as moving the scrapers around, like I said, if it does start to get muddy, I'll go over it with a different color. But usually I don't set aside paint and just do it like that. I put a few drops here, a few drops there, a line here, a line there, and then I start moving the scrapers around. And I've been working on leaving open spaces a lot. I've been working on painting the background first. As far as, like I said, somebody asked me the other day, how long do you let it sit? That is the only time I will let it sit, is if I use a brush to do the background to give it some kind of life under the main textures and the main depth of it. But other than that, I'm moving stuff around, man. I'm trying anything I can, and it's funny because when I first started doing all this, I had that muddiness, and I couldn't get away from it. But I realized when I swapped from brushes to palette knives, it was a big change.
And then you think about how simple of a change that was, but how impactful it was on your work, right? From literally
Yes.
brush, like, dude, sometimes it's that simple, right? But we as humans tend to overcomplicate things and think that nah, it needs to be much more than that. It can't just be that one little switch up, But sometimes it is, Sometimes you just never know.
Man, and it has to be too because it can't be that easy, Like that one little switch. That's how it goes in this space too. That's like I tried oil paints for the first time because another one of my favorite artists is Jake Andrew, and as far as watching his work, I was like, "Oh, damn, I need to try oil paint. I like the texture. I like this. I like that. And then I did a couple of them, realized how long they take to dry. That drove me nuts. But I still did some crazy pieces with it. But the texture, I do so much texture. It was like I waited 2 months for a piece to dry one time. Um, but yeah, it's just one little change can just boom, it's like a light bulb. And it's always the easiest thing that you wouldn't think of until something simple as, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try this. And there it is.
No doubt, man. I feel like we have a lot of similarities in that aspect for sure. Because the first time that I tried to paint with oil paints, same thing happened. I was just way too impatient for it, man.
Yeah.
I was just like, bro, I'm serious. Like, I have like maybe two layers tops, and now I have to wait like a month. Like,
Yes.
what the?
I was like, do I need to get a blow dryer? Like, I'm sitting here, like, what do I need? But I didn't want to crack it. And then I was like, um, it was so funny, dude, because I went to the post office to drop. I had like 8 physicals that needed to go out because I'm a horrible person. I'm just kidding. No, but I had like 8 physicals that needed to go out, and I went to the post office, and there's this woman there who always takes packages for me and sends them out. But she was saying that she does art too, or her niece or somebody that she does art with, but they do use oil paint. And I was like, I love oil paint. And I was having the same conversation. I was like, but they take so long to dry. You know what she told me?
What she say?
She said, well, it sounds like there's more time for you to build the hype. And this lady's like 60. I was like, man, that's all right then.
That's
Right?
guts, man. Oh, bro, that's funny. Damn, got roasted by old
Yeah,
lady,
hell yeah.
man. You know, happens, happens. But nah, I couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. My switch up, or not switch up, but like my change of tool that added, took my stuff like to the next level
Yeah.
when it comes to physical was I started to incorporate airbrushing, and that was such a cool medium because it was like a mini version of a spray can. It was more controlled. You can get really fine lines with it, and it was just dope, bro. Being able to mix your own colors and then being able to add like this layer of softness if you wanted
Yeah.
to, or just very crazy, precise spray type of lines. So yeah, man, airbrush for me was a game changer for
Hell
sure.
yeah. I've actually
Have
been
you ever?
wanting to try that too, as far as spray paint and airbrushing. I have this, this third bedroom that I've turned into an art studio, but I also have a 10-year-old son and I'm always worried about the fumes and stuff. But apparently it dries pretty fast, so I might have to give it a go.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. Airbrush is not bad, and like to clean it, actually, you can get like this little container where it has a filter, and you're just spraying in that little container until the air on the other side, yeah, it comes out clear. But the whole point is like you're not intaking fumes and stuff like that. That's why I like it more than spray painting as well, because spray paint obviously very harsh odor and all these fumes. It's a little bit more messy
Yeah, that's
too.
dope. I didn't even
Uh,
know that. I appreciate that.
yeah, man. If anything, I'll send you the one that I used because it was definitely like a trial and error as well, trying to find like a decent airbrush that wasn't crazy expensive, but again wouldn't break on you after like the second use. And so I'll shoot you that info,
Yeah, hell
bro, so
yeah.
you can check it out.
Appreciate that.
Um, let's go ahead and take this to a whole nother route. I want to really see what your headspace is like when it comes to you and your career, right?
Hmm.
And what I mean by this is I want you to talk about the vision, your vision, what that is, what that looks like what you're striving for. At the end of the day, it's like, what's the whole purpose of you creating art? And there's no right or wrong answer, by the way. It's just me being fucking curious.
All right, well, there's two aspects to that. All right, if it was just about me creating art and there was no money involved, I do it for my mental, man. Like, I do it to release. I've had a lot of loss in my life. I've dealt with more than I can start to, talk about. As far as what I deal with daily, as far as my past, it's just, I'm one of those people who I know that I don't need to worry about shit that I cannot control, but I do think about the things that have already happened. I know I can't change them, but you can't keep some shit like that out. So definitely it's a release. It's, to put it out there is to get it out there. It's also that release because I don't do music anymore. So I've found my place in art. So I set the music down. It's definitely that. But as far as aspirations as a career, um, I do it for my family. I have a 10-year-old son and a wonderful wife. And I just want to give them everything that I've always wanted to give them. I want to get my son into a better school district. I want to get my wife a car. I want to get us a house. As far as the career itself, we don't have galleries down here. I live in Alabama in the middle of nowhere. It's super country. There's some in New Orleans and different bigger cities like that, Georgia, but we don't have anything. I looked for galleries down here, and I found the closest I found was a framing store where they sell a few paintings, and I immediately talked to the guy at that place. But I'd like to have my work in a gallery. I've had it in presented for NFT NYC, and that was the closest I've gotten. But I'd like to have my work presented in a gallery. I would like to do bigger pieces. The biggest I've probably done is like a 30 by 40. Um, but I have so many ideas all the time about what I want to do. And to be honest, I don't like the texture on canvases, or else I would do huge pieces all the time. So I've been working on trying to, mess with that a little bit. But yeah, man, I'm actually doing this basically full time. My wife works her ass off. I spend time with my son. He also drops work on Exchange. He used to drop with me on Tezos. We paint all the time. I think that's what it's about, and that's where I'd like to keep it. I'd like to be able to do this full time and not worry about money. That'd be nice, but I know that's not realistic at this moment. So right now, I'm just painting, man. Like, I get up and this is what I do. I'm loving the physical aspect. I've sent physicals to Canada, Egypt, Austria, all over the place in the last 6 months, just crazy amounts. Um, Even if they're just prints, I'm happy to have them out there. Right now, I'm just trying to build myself. I'm trying to see what I can do as far as all that. Um, Monday, I'm dropping a series that is actually somewhat structured. Like I said, as far as concepts, a lot of people don't know it, but my concepts are everything. Like how you were talking about surrealism and all that, as far as my style goes, expressionism. It's a little deeper than that. If you ever look at my descriptions, it's a bit of poetry. Um, because, like I said, I can't start with a piece and know what it's going to turn into. So instead, either halfway through or when I get done, that's when I figure out what I see in it and what I feel in it. And it's usually what I'm feeling at that moment, but it's more intricate again. And then I take that, and I used to be a writer because I told you, I was a rapper, and I turned that into poetry as far as my descriptions go. So not only are you getting a piece of my art, you're getting a piece of my soul. And I'd like to do that as far as for as long as I can. I just want to make this something I can do for work, period. I do work part time somewhere else right now, just delivering things. Nothing crazy, but that's as far as my aspirations. That's what I want to do. I want to do art.
And the reason I ask,
Yeah,
right, is because I like to get artists in the headspace of like, okay, what do I truly want to do with this, right? Like, what is this really for? Where am I headed? And the more that you talk about it, bring it out, right? The more that you're gonna act on it, the more you're gonna feel like, oh, okay, I'm feeling like I'm almost there. Like I'm ready for this because at the end of the day, right? Let's say best case scenario, there is this random person or couple that finds you,
yeah,
right? Really did work, and they're like, "Wow, okay, I really like this, but like, I want to like invest somehow, but like, where are you taking this? Like, what are the plans here? What do you want to do with it,
yeah.
right? Like, are you even capable of producing X amount of pieces?" Based on your current situation, right? Like, do you have space, or like, are you opposed to having shows, or you know what I
That's
mean? The quicker you
Go ahead.
find all the answers for yourself, the faster that they'll happen, if that makes
No, you're
sense.
completely right. And, that's what I'm going towards. I'm going towards trying to get my work in a gallery. I would love to do a show. Um, I paint bigger pieces that not a lot of people see because I'm getting ready for that. I'm getting ready for if I run into somebody or somebody reaches out to me. Art festivals, like I said, galleries. I have pieces ready for a lot of that. When I'm not doing pieces for NFTs, I'm doing big ass physicals, just in case something were to happen, or just to have around my damn house until then. I still have a
Yeah.
good bit of physicals. I try to put them out there sometimes, but I just haven't found that reach yet as far as people just buying art without the NFT. Like I said, I've sold hella physicals in the last 7 months as far as NFTs go. Like, I can't stop doing that, and I'm cool with that. That's what I wanted. But as far as moving forward, I would love to do shows. I would love to, you know, I'm I'm trying to figure out how to. I mean, I know how to set up a website, but I'd like to set up a store type website as far as some of these bigger pieces that I have here. And the hardest thing I found is taking pictures of them without the glare because I have so much texture and, just right so I can get them so I don't have to take pictures of pieces of them. So the ones that I can take pictures of pieces of them, that's what I use for NFTs. And the ones that I have that are just big ass pieces, ready to go, they're sitting here ready to go.
And see, this is why I love that we're talking about this because all these little things that are kind of like, well, I guess to some sense holding you back, right? The fact that you have this obstacle of being able to take photos of your art a certain way because of the glare,
Right.
right? And that's kind of stopping having a website where you have photos of this stuff that you can go ahead and present to the world or like a future collector that is trying to get a feel of who and what you are, right? So you start to see like how one thing affects the other, that affects the other, that is really affecting the whole situation as a whole, from you being discovered by who you want to be discovered by. And so I'm guilty of this too, by the way, which is why we're talking about it because, for the longest, for like past couple months, I've had an opportunity to present myself to like one of the biggest galleries in the
Yeah.
world where they actually know my name, right? But because of me and my own mind and my personality saying like, oh, okay, well, my site's not 100% yet, or like, oh no, my pitch deck is not like exactly there yet because of X, Y, and Z, and then because of that and because of that, I'm just like, damn, bro, it's already been like 4 months that I haven't sent this shit because of one little thing that is causing like a chain reaction to like the whole big picture.
Yeah.
I could have been probably signed to like one of the biggest galleries in the world, but because of my own head, I'm just like, nah, not yet, man, not yet. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like it's so stupid, but it's so real, right? And we all do this shit.
Hey, you're not ready until you're ready, though, man. Like, you know what you want, even if it's just a portion. You know what you want, and when you're ready
Yes.
for that, then you'll be ready for that. You don't have to jump in. There's no time limit on this shit. You don't have to jump in like that. Um, but no, I feel the same way. Like if somebody asked if
There's
I had,
truth.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say there's definitely truth in that. But if I'm also being 100% real with you and everybody on this space right
Yeah.
now, part of that is also fear. Like the fear of just like, damn, bro. I'm like, I made it to the top, to the big leagues, and now I'm gonna have a whole new set of different pressure.
Yeah.
And do I want that right now?
I
You
I feel
know?
that. Because if somebody were to tell me right now, hey, you can go to California and do a show, like I wouldn't know what the fuck to say because I got a family. Like I wouldn't just up and leave them at the same time. I wouldn't be able to afford to bring everybody. So it just you don't know until you know, and that it is pressure and it is a big ass change if something were to happen.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like we need to prepare ourselves for these type of events, situations, to be able to know what you're gonna do, man. Because if yeah, it's like you just said. If somebody came to, hey man, I like your stuff. Let's have a show in Cali, and you're just like, oh fuck, bro,
Right.
like, like what do I do? But if you're ready, or at least somewhat ready to at least be prepared enough to have your response of like, okay, well, let's do this. I can do this amount of time and this amount of pieces based on my current situation because I have a family, I have kids, and if you're down for that, let's do like 30% deposit, blah blah blah, and figure this shit out. Cool, cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. It definitely allows you putting it out to the universe. Not only helps you to figure out what you could do in that situation, but I'm a big believer of having backup plans on backup plans on backup plans. So it'll somewhat, even if, like you said, it might frighten you at the moment or it might frighten me at the moment. We can somewhat get ready for that just by talking about it. So I completely understand.
Yeah, man. And your stuff's powerful, bro. Like, so far fucking all the artists that have been on this space has their own unique story, their own style. Like it's amazing, bro. Like you guys inspire me even to think different and just being open to like many different things, bro. Because I thought that I was like a pretty dope ass artist, which I still feel that way. But coming into Web3 and seeing all the talent here, bro, oh man, that shit humbled me real quick, bro. But like in a good way, you
Yeah,
know?
definitely. That's one thing I learned quick was not to worry about what everybody else is doing. I know that's not what you're saying, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But I learned that because I was always focused on, oh man, this person's selling this piece that took, half a second. And I know we talked about that earlier, but you know what kind of pieces I'm talking about, where it's like 4 lines and it's done. And I saw this person
Yeah.
sell this, and it's all quadruple what I'm making off pieces that in my mind are next level. So I completely get you on that. But that's one thing artists that might help other artists also is, that's one thing I've always said too is, you know, all you can do is what you can do. I can't say that enough.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And literally what you surround yourself with, how open you are to shifts of perspective because of our own egos, it blocks a lot of stuff, man. Um, I talk about a lot of this stuff through experience. And it's a big reason why I'm here too, man. Because I'm just like, yo, if somebody else can learn based on what I feel like are not necessarily mistakes that I made, but things that prolong situations a little bit longer than they should have been, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like the lesson could have been in like a 2 month span instead of six.
yeah,
You know. So that's what I'm trying to do, man. But let's talk about that piece that you just pinned right now on the jumbotron. It's like a video,
yeah.
right?
I was just trying
Enigma.
to show you a little bit of my process work. I have a couple process videos. It's not always easy for me to just. Sometimes I just come in here and I do it. So it's not always for me. I have to set up the phone and get it ready and all that shit like that. But that was actually a piece I did. Enigma has a series called 365, and he reached out to me and asked if I would like to be a part of it because he's also having other artists do their perception of what he was doing with his series. So that was a piece I did for him. The physical actually sold the other day. But yeah, that's a part of
Let's
my process. That's actually probably one of the only pieces, first off, that I did specifically, like I told you about, and that I didn't take two pieces and blend together. I just wanted to give you an idea of, how I do my work sometimes. But as you can see, I did it quick, not just because it's a damn time lapse, but I did it quick. But it's still in depth. You have to look into it, just into it instead of at it. You know.
Yeah, man. I love that you use your hands as well. And actually, this brings up 2 points. One, I like to really see like what the artist can kind of be within my own mind. I'm just like, when you were talking about your process
Mhm.
earlier, it kind of sounded to me like a dance, right? Between you and the painting. So I'm like, bro, how sick would it be to have you kind of like perform almost, right? But really just creating. But you have like this center stage, right? Dope ass lights. You have your canvas, or maybe even two or
Mhm.
three. Who knows? And you just fucking go in, man, right? Using all types of tools, like you said, chopsticks, tools that are normally not used to create art. I think that would be a really cool experience for both you and like the outside world to kind of see how you make stuff, man. Because it's a process. It's you filtering and expressing your emotions right there in that moment, and I think that's very powerful.
It is.
So that would be super dope in the future. You know, what I mean, maybe Mondo Kids has events, and we hire you, contract you to do uh, something like that, man. For the future, that would be super sick. I think that would be dope.
Man, that would be dope. It'd be like a performance art piece, and I could do that. I could definitely do that. That's crazy that you said that,
Oh,
because now you got it in my mind. Because when I do my paintings, I couldn't find the videos, but sometimes I just do two at a time. I'll drop the paint, I'll do the scrapes. I'll drop the paint, I'll do the scrapes. I'll drop more paint on one, I'll do the scrapes. Drop more paint on one, I'll do the scrape, and I keep going.
that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. And the second point, so I'm not sure you're familiar with WD, Walking Designs, but
I am.
okay, okay.
He's a
So are you
homie.
familiar with his TikTok account? Um, Homie has like over like 600K followers on that, man, and he kept it. His concept is very simple. It's like doodles, right? So it's like a zoomed in process with him in a black pen, and he creates like these little doodles, just sketches. They're like super quick, time lapse, and bro, he's building an audience like crazy, man. It's such a powerful tool to have. And I asked him, yo, like, where are you headed with that? And I love his answer. He was like, right now I'm just building, bro. Like, just building my audience.
Yes.
He's not trying to sell anything, but like, he's just, he kind of hacked, the whole TikTok thing by
Hmm.
uh, finding what works for him. And now he's just building. I feel like you can probably do the same thing, right? With like time lapse videos like that. Do quick stuff, but just stay consistent and start building some type of audience on there.
Yeah, definitely. Now that WD is the homie. He has some really good work, man. Like, always good to do props. And I've actually think I've seen a couple of the videos you were talking about. I haven't been on TikTok very much, but I could definitely see doing something like that. And man, you got that damn performance art shit in my head now. I'm sitting here like 18 ideas. But no, I definitely completely agree, and I'm trying to do more videos as far as that goes. Because anytime I post a video like that one that I just showed you, I get big ass response from it. So I'm definitely going to try to do more videos as far as that goes. And I even like editing the videos and making them look crazy and shit, or throwing to where it looks like three people at once. I was actually, oh, I almost slipped up. Um, there's an artist that I'm actually going to do a collaboration with, and where I do kind of like we talked about with the performance part, but just where I'm around the art studio doing multiple pieces at once, except it's going to be turned into a music video. That's all I can say on that part. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Oh, I like that.
I definitely want to start doing more process videos in the future.
I think my best advice for that, because it's something that I'm currently going through as well, is figure out the system of what it takes to you from idea to posting a video, right? So
Yeah,
the easier you make that system flawless, it's just like, okay, you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of like autopilot,
yep,
bro. It makes everything so much better because you can focus on the art and not so much on your production of like, fuck, like where I set up the camera, like, do I even have memory on this? Like, okay, how does post edit look like? So figure all that bullshit out first, and then start to practice doing a couple videos as fast as you can, and see
definitely.
what that process is.
Hell yeah, I'm all about systems. Like I said in the beginning of this, that's one of my main things. Is I'm very OCD. I know it doesn't seem like it by the chaos of my pieces, but as far as anything else goes, I'm pretty OCD about how I handle things. It's just like you said, I got to have a system. And right when you said that, I was like, all right, I can put something here, so I can just set up the phone or set up the camera, have multiple angles, blah blah blah.
Exactly, bro. At the end of the day, we're trying to make this dummy proof and just, speed and allowing the energy to stay focused on the art. That being said, man, dude, this fucking space just flew by. We have 3 minutes left. So if there's anybody in the audience that would like to come up, ask a question, just say what's up. This is the time. Raise your hand, and if not, we're gonna get ready to close this out, man.
All
Crazy,
right,
bro. This fucking flew by.
I want to say one last thing too. My next series drops Monday. It's called Strangers. It is my normal process where I take two physicals and I blend them together, except now I am blending them with a bit of AI. Strangers is posted above. Hope you guys go check that out.
Yeah, there you go. And we actually have two people that came up to the stage, man. So let's see. We'll paper, rock, scissor it. All right. Obviously, you can't do that. SMS, if you live, bro, what's up?
Whoa.
Bro. That was wild, bro. I don't know what language that was, but damn, I felt that.
Sorry, bro. I had to mute it. It was super loud. If you want me to unmute it, that's cool. I don't know. I didn't even know I could mute people.
Oh shit. Oh damn, I should have probably done that. I'm a terrible host. All right, girl.
Hey,
It's your turn, fam.
what up,
What's
everybody?
up?
Thank you for calling me up. I was actually gonna ask Designs if he's ever thought about using AI just to like create something and then maybe like put it on canvas, but he just said that he was, so that's cool. Or is like trying to. My second comment isn't really it's kind of a question, but he said that there's no like art galleries in his area. I don't know why, but I'm envisioning that he lives like on a farm. Would he ever want would he ever want to build like a dope ass art shed where he can like express himself and then maybe like hang them up and then maybe he can start inviting artists out there and like like kind of
Bro, that's a sick idea.
bringing the like art gallery to him.
All right, so I'm gonna start with the first comment with the AI. I'm I love AI. I don't like AI when people put in two prompts and then post the piece for sale. I'm sorry, but it drives me nuts. If you're gonna do AI, I feel like it needs to be a little intricate. So that's what I'm doing with this new series. Um, Not only am I doing AI, I am inserting one of my physicals into the AI system before I do the prompts, which are very specific. And then I take that piece that was made with the physical and the AI and I layer it over the original physical that was made with the AI. And then I go to editing. As far as the second part, I don't live on a farm. I kind of wish I did because that would be in the middle of nowhere and I'd fucking love that. But as far as the shed thing goes, I think it's a great idea. I'm planning on moving to Georgia or somewhere away from here in the next year or two. That's the goal. Um, but as far as galleries, like we have art festivals and things like that. But man, they charge an arm and a leg. So all I can do is keep building right now. And I'm going to keep building until I can do that. That's the goal.
Hell yeah, I love that. I'll be quick, and then we'll go to SMS. So the comment about AI, I totally agree. I feel like used properly, it should be used like a brush as a tool, not as the product itself. Second,
Definitely.
the whole art gallery thing, I think that's amazing. And when you said festival, that sparked an idea for me because a couple years ago, I actually did something for Coachella based off of a program that was like hiring artists to do certain things for the festival. So I think it's just a matter of knowledge and being in the know of these programs. And so
Mhm.
that definitely sparked the idea for me to like make that process easier for artists to find via Window Kids within our platform. So thank you for that.
Definitely.
So yeah, SMS, bro. It's time. Oh shit! I don't know what's going on with your. You sound like a horse, just
Can you hear
like
me now?
galloping, bro. Um.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
hey, hey. Let me hold up.
Hey,
That
so
just
it goes the
registered.
headphones the whole time.
Sound like a
I got
horseman.
figured it out.
Nah, I appreciate it. You guys have a pretty cool space. I've been rocking with Guerrero for a little while now. He's been putting me into contact with more people like you, and I'm learning a lot. Just wanted to say thanks for, putting this together and sharing that. And looking forward to, following you guys and learning a lot more. My background's graffiti and just like learning how to do stuff in real life and learning digital. it's been a challenge, but it's been a lot of fun. But I'm trying to find a way to incorporate it and meet people, you guys that are doing some really cool stuff and showing the way. Because otherwise, I'd be sitting here just painting on walls, just having fun. But I think there's more to it, and just appreciate you guys kind of setting this kind of stuff up. About to learn.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I
Yeah,
appreciate you
man.
coming. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, sir. No, I was gonna say the same thing. Appreciate you for coming out. And actually, I'll have Jay contact you, bro. I would love to have you on as one of the artists on the Creative Mind. It'd be super dope. Um, but yeah, girl, thanks for putting us on, bro, and having SMS come in, kick it with us and stuff. Um, Designz, bro. I have one last question for you before we close this out. I want to quickly say thank you for everybody who tuned in. Girl, SMS for hopping on stage, and asking your questions, your statements. But Designz. So if you can go back in time, right, and have about 10 seconds with your younger self, what will you tell him? You can take your time too, man. No rush.
I tell them the main thing I live by right now. Stop worrying about things that are out of my control.
That's facts. That's great. That's a good one. That's a good
Man,
one.
that has made me from a frantic person who worries about everything to the calmest dude you will meet as far as problems go.
I'm
Absolutely
so
love that.
sorry. I actually missed what he said. What would he do if he could go back? I'm sorry about that.
I said I would tell myself to stop worrying about things that I have not one bit of control over. Because since I've done that, I have just become zen. I'm completely zen. If there's a problem, somebody's messing with my family, yeah, I'm gonna go a little crazy. But other than that, I'm calm, bro.
Dog, that's what I'm saying, man. The mind, bro. That's why this space is called the creative mind, because that's where all the power is, man. And I feel like we tend to forget that. But yeah, man, I'm so glad that realization that you had, you apply it now, and you're living by that now, and you're experiencing all the benefits from that now.
It's a
So
life changer. It's a life changer,
that's a
bro.
perfect way to close this out. Design, and this one has been extra special. It went by so fast. We'll definitely tap in and keep in touch, because I feel like there's a lot that we can do together as far
Yeah, for
as
sure.
artist to artist, project to artist, and vice versa. So this definitely keep in touch, man.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate you guys having me. Go check out my work if you get a minute. Still got a few editions, which come with physicals. I usually raffle off one to a holder. Man, I just
Yes,
appreciate all the
sir.
love, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm gonna cop one of the editions, bro. Shoot me the link, or if not, I'll just go onto the page and check it out. But yeah, man, I want to say thank you everybody who tuned in. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Friday going into the weekend. Have fun, stay safe, and we do this every Friday. So same time, check us out, and much love to everybody. Peace.